Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 18th regular business board meeting. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Copeland. Is that too fast?
That was too fast.
Sorry.
So, thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. And this evening's presentation is by Gladwin Elementary School. And I see Miss Veronica Ellers, the principal, is out there, and I'm going to turn it over to her to introduce her group.
Okay, good evening to the board, Mr. Copeland, and the community. I'm Veronica Ellers, the proud, you have to see what I'm doing here. There we go. All right. Proud principal of Gladwin Elementary School. This evening, I am pleased to provide a brief overview of our school-wide initiative that supports redefining success with the district strategic plan. In addition to responsive classroom practices that are already in place to build relationships with students and create feelings of unity and community in the classroom, this year we have implemented ways to encourage positive behavior and give students voice and foster healthy relationships through elements of restorative practices approach. To facilitate our work as a whole school, we read Better Than Carrots or Sticks. It states that effective classroom rules should mirror school-wide values and be short, positively phrased, a reasonable number, and posted somewhere clearly visible in the room. It was important to us that we clearly communicate our expectations to students and that we reflect on how we work with students who at times do not display expected behavior. It is my pleasure to turn over the presentation to the students of Gladwin, who will share how they have experienced this change in our school year.
My name is Aria Vigilance, and I'm in second grade. When we came to school this year, I noticed that there were new signs everywhere. Each sign explained the Gladwin way at different places in the school. Our teachers reviewed these expectations with us, and we go over them again whenever we need reminders.
My name is Nadia Reddy, and I am in third grade. I got my Pack Pride sticker for walking nicely in the hallways. After I earn a sticker, I get a yellow ticket from my teacher. Then I put my name and homeroom on the yellow ticket and turn it into the third grade envelope in the office. Every Friday, Mr. Circle announces 2 to 3 names from each grade's envelope. Students who are announced receive a brick to decorate and place it on the Pack Pride banner in the auditorium. My class earned a Wolf Pride sticker for being quiet at lunch. After our grade earned 10 Wolf Pride stickers, we earned free seating in the cafeteria during lunch. I must say, third grade earned their free seating pretty quickly.
My name is Sarah Schumacher, and I'm in 4th grade. This school year, we started having monthly Pack Pride meetings. Every grade has their own meeting. The meetings help make us feel like a family, and the meetings are lots of fun. We gather together, sing the Gladwin song, and review some expectations for school, and set a goal to meet those expectations. The meetings are a celebration of the Gladwin way. Individuals who earn bricks have their names called, come up front, and get their picture taken. And then the bricks are displayed on the Gladwin banner in the auditorium. Classes that win the monthly challenge get to present something to the entire grade level. It's a Pack Pride showcase, and those performances are fun for everyone.
My name is Noah Chaplin, and I'm in 5th grade. Sometimes expectations are not followed. When that happens, students and an adult use reflection sheets to review what had happened. I haven't had to do it, but I think it could really be helpful. Kids write about what happened, how everyone feels about it, and how to fix the problem. This helps everyone see what led up to the problem, understand everyone's feelings about things, and how to restore relationships. Mrs. Ellers calls all of this restorative practice. I just know it's helped Gladwin feel more peaceful and calm.
Do we want, you said a picture.
If you want to stand up and face your families, so they can take a picture of you. Oh, wow.
That was it. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. We really appreciate
You have
hearing from you.
Great-looking wolves there.
All right. At this time, I'm going to take audience recognition on action items only. That is, if we're going to vote on it this evening and you'd like to make a comment or ask a question, please come now to Ms. LaPera and sign in. Please tell us your name and generally where you live, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on an action item? Okay, then at this time, I'm going to ask for the approval of the attached minutes from the following meetings. February 19th, Education Committee and Supplementary Regular Board Meeting. February 19th, Regular Business Board Meeting. There must be dates. Oh, that's right, we actually did have 2 meetings in one night. I forgot about that. Okay, 2 meetings. February 19th, Regular Business Board. March 11th, Education Committee and regular board meeting, as well as accepting the following committee meeting minutes. March 5th, curriculum, March 8th, policy, March 13th, finance, and March 14th, facilities and purchasing. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes, and I will turn it over to Mr. Copeland for the superintendent's update.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. Welcome, everyone. We've had a busy month. Some announcements. Congratulations to Harridan High School senior Sam Weissman, who won 2nd place in the Regeneron Student Science Talent Search for his HIV research. The award includes a $175,000 prize. Sam will spend next year continuing his research at a lab at the University of Pennsylvania. That's pretty good, yeah. What a waste. Congratulations are also in order for the Lower Merion High School mock trial team. They'll be headed to the state competition for the first time in 21 years, following an impressive performance at regionals. And congratulations to Harridan students Graham Branscombe and Harrison Weiner, who took home the top prize in the news broadcasting category at the 2019 Pennsylvania High School Speech League Tournament at Bloomsburg University this weekend. Finally, the TSA teams from both high schools are headed to the state competition after their impressive showing at regionals. The Aces recorded an impressive 51 top 10 results, including 11 first-place finishes, while the Rams collected a total of 28 top 10 results, including 17 top 3 finishes. Busy month. Congratulations to everyone. I guess I'm continuing with human resources. The superintendent recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached human resources actions HR 1 through HR 6.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The motion passes.
I'd like just to point out that as part of the recommendations this month, we hired our 2nd high school college access counselor, and so we'll have 2 now, and there'll be 1 for each high school, but they'll also be working collaboratively, so no one needs to go to any extreme measures for college access. Okay, sorry. All right. Educational services, want to do that?
Yeah, I'm going to do.
Curriculum committee, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'd like to have a report of the March 5th curriculum committee meeting from Ms. Robinson.
Thank you. The curriculum committee met on March 5th at 8:30 in this room. Dr. Eveslag overviewed the contract for Trego Ed consultants being considered to support next phase of the district's sleep and start time decision-making protocol. A decision brief will be provided to the full board and was provided to the full board for the March business meeting. Presentation topics, all CCOB meeting-related presentation and supporting documents can be found on the district website in board docs under curriculum meeting, as well as in the education supplementary board meeting section. PDE Act 339, Rich Marta and others of the counseling department provided the CCOB with an overview of PDE Act 339, in which Pennsylvania requires all school districts to have a K through 12 counseling plan. The counseling team shared the college and career readiness plan with CCOB, as well as the strategies for curriculum integration. The work on PDE Act 339 will focus on using a comprehensive K-12 counseling career development delivery system through curriculum, programming, and activities. Rewriting curriculum with a gap analysis and mapping tools, engaging all stakeholders with a team approach, developing portfolios for all students, developing a system for K through 12 collaboration with community and connect career exploration and planning to the graduation project. The board will be asked to approve PDE on the March business meeting. Additionally, Mr. Copeland announced the approval to hire a second college and career access counselor, given the higher enrollment numbers and the need for our high schools, which he just mentioned. So these meeting minutes are from March 5th. We discussed, Dr. Christina Paul provided the CCOB an extensive overview of the decision-making process over the last 4 years regarding the sleep and school start time. The March 12th Board Education and Supplementary meeting was solely focused on presenting the sleep and school start time presentation and engaging the community on this topic. We encourage community members interested in this topic to visit the board docs section on the school district website under curriculum meeting and/or the education supplementary meeting, where all meeting materials can be found. All comments regarding this and other topics can be emailed to the board at communitycomments@lmsd.org. The next curriculum committee meeting will be April 2nd, Tuesday at 8:30 in this room. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Copeland?
Under Educational Services, I'd like to take B and C in one motion to approve the contract of Trego Ed regarding sleep and start times in the not-to-exceed amount of $30,000, subject to solicitor review. And also, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approve the attached overnight trips as listed.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The motion passes.
Under Student Services, I'd like to take motions A through D together. The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the student services items as listed. Agreement for students receiving non-district educational services, SS1 through SS11. B, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached Austil's Rehabilitation Services contract to provide occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, and specialized therapeutic health care services at $62.95 an hour for the 2019-2020 school year and $63.90 per hour for the 2020 and 2021 school year. In C, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached independent consultant contract for Dr. Jonathan Plucker to not to exceed in the amount of $25,000 to provide consultative and professional development support for the district for gifted education programming per the findings of the program evaluation. And finally, the administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the attached Act 339 K-12 school counseling plan.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Go ahead, Diane.
Regarding the comprehensive counseling program,
in paging through, I noticed that there's one counselor at Welsh Valley with an 80-student caseload as opposed to a 300-student caseload. Is she part-time as opposed to full-time, or?
Well, luckily, Mr. Martyr is here to answer that question.
You need to come to the podium or
there you
a
go.
microphone. Thank you.
At the end of last year, we increased the middle school counseling staff by one person because we had a split position between both middle schools for mental health. So each of the counselors, there's now 2 counselors, one at each middle school. They serve half-time as a school counselor and half-time as a mental health counselor.
Great, thank you. And so she would, and then there's a Balkenwood counselor who's listed as assigned, and so those would be the 2 who are part
Exactly.
the 2 roles.
Exactly.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. We are now going to have a report of the March 13th Finance Committee meeting by Ms. Di Bonaventura.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met for its first of 4 meetings on March 13th at 8:30 in this room. The focus of this particular meeting was maintenance, operations, and transportation. There were over 50 slides, so it was a very comprehensive presentation, and if this is something that you have a particular interest in, I'd recommend that you take a look at the slides. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. The highlights include the school district consists of 1.8 million square feet of building and 228 acres of land, all of which need to be maintained and taken care of. So our maintenance staff, maintenance and administrative staff, we have 35 in that staff, plus 2 interns that we use. They get training, we get some work, so it's a win-win situation there. We have 85 custodial staff and 163 transportation staff, which includes drivers, mechanics, aides, and support. Our maintenance budget is on slide 22. We're looking at an increase of about $691,000 and $692,000, or 3.6%. Our projected budget is actually lower than our 17-18 actual budget was, but that had to do with some big projects that we managed during that year. Some areas where we look for savings include preventative maintenance and being proactive in caring for our systems. We find that this really saves a lot of time and money, in part because we're less likely to find ourselves in a crisis situation and therefore paying a premium to fix a problem. We have a lot of efficiencies in our use of utilities, and this was a real highlight. We went from spending $1.19 per square foot in 2013-14 to 96 cents per square foot in 17-18. And we're hoping to keep those utility costs around that level, below $1 per square foot. PASBO, which is a school board organization, did a study, and the industry standard is $1.32 per square foot. So considering how much square footage we have, it's a huge savings in the way we manage our utilities. And another highlight is our use of green, healthy cleaning supplies. Not only does this save costs in terms of having to not buy a lot of expensive chemicals, but it's also healthier for the staff and the students who use those buildings. The transportation budget was on slide 44. We're seeing about $352,000 increase, or a 2.4% increase in next year's budget. So next year's budget will be $14,745,705. Just a couple highlights there. We bus to approximately 125 schools and drive over 1.5 million miles each year. We own and maintain 162 vehicles, 123 are buses and 39 are support vehicles. We in addition to driving and using them, we also maintain them, so we have our own mechanic staff. And we have 163 people in the transportation department, I mentioned before, drivers, mechanics, aides, support personnel. A couple interesting facts about transportation department. We run 2 late buses for our secondary schools each day. This is unique in the area, as Haverford, Radnor, and TE do not provide any late transportation. Our eligibility for a bus is at about half what the state requires. So if you're over 3/4 of a mile for elementary or 1 mile for secondary, you can get a bus. Or if the walking route is considered hazardous by PennDOT. So those distances, a lot of our neighboring distances follow the state rule, so it's 2 miles for secondary students. We transport kindergarten midday. Again, most of our neighboring districts only provided at the transportation for kindergartners at the beginning and at the end. We try to limit our bus routes to 30 minutes, though occasionally some are as long as 45, but again, that adds expense to our bus. But we feel it's better for our students. And one last very interesting comment made by our Director of Transportation was that every single day, they have to make adjustments to the routes and drivers to accommodate the students. So some drivers will come in, find out that another driver isn't there, and they'll have to combine routes on the fly. Our late buses, those drivers are adjusting those routes every afternoon on the fly to try and maximize the routes, because you never know who's going to take the late bus at the end of the day. So it's really a pretty amazing feat what the drivers have to do every day, and that transportation staff. So we ended the meeting by thanking them, the transportation staff, for taking care of our kids, particularly in the snowy weather and with some of our road closures and treacherous drives. I drove somewhere this morning, and in my 3-mile drive, I had 3 detours for tree work. And the bus drivers have to deal with those detours and still pick up the kids. So they're making those corrections and changes on the fly. So we were very grateful to them. And we also wanted to thank the maintenance and operations staff for keeping our schools running safely, cleanly, and efficiently. It's a Herculean job. Our next meeting is on April 3rd at 8:30, again in this room, and it'll be focused on student services.
Thank you very much, Diane. We now have a report of the March 14th Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting by Ben Driscoll.
Thank you. We met this past Thursday in this room at 8:30. We began, as always, reviewing and recommending for approval the list of bills. We then reviewed and recommended for approval the following district contracts. Trago Ed, I think at the cost of $25,000 with not to exceed charges of $5,000 for travel, for a total of $30,000. As previously stated, this is in conjunction with the investigating changing school start times. So we are retaining Trago Ed to conduct stakeholder meetings in the spring and summer, develop ideas and obtain community input, and then provide recommendations to the district in the fall on what can be done. Next district contract was Austil's. Again, we just approved that at various rates depending on the year and the staff member. A 2-year renewal contract for Austil's to provide occupational therapy, something they've been doing for us for several years. And then the other contract we already approved with Jonathan Plucker, $200 per hour, not to exceed $25,000. Provide consultations and professional development to make changes to the district's gifted education program per the findings of our program evaluation. We then moved on to the purchasing report with 4 items. With Hondrew Ford, $48,270. This is to purchase a new Ford F550 dump truck to replace an older one that is broken down, and the cost to repair is not worth it, so it's more cost efficient to buy a new one. Along with that was another contract with Triad Truck Equipment, $47,821. This would be an upfit package to the purchased truck to add a snowplow and a tailgate spreader to give it more utility for the district. The next 2 contracts are with Weatherproofing Technologies. First one, $977,450. This is to replace major sections of the roof on Penwyn Elementary. This project has been discussed at times before and during the 5-year capital improvement program. Roofs do not last forever, and they need to be replaced, and Penwyn's turn is up. Again, with weatherproofing technologies, $1,076,350. Replace a lot of the flat sections of the roof at Marion Elementary. Again, another project that we've had discussions about for several years in the 5-year program. And all 4 were bid through state-run bidding process. Our next contract is with Right at School, where Right at School will pay the district $90,000. Right at School will purchase bus services from the district to do midday transportation for students enrolled in the kindergarten RAP program. This contract is contingent on Right at School obtaining a suitable space to hold such a program that is within the footprint of the school district. The next one is Right at School again will pay the district $7,250 or 5% of charged fees. Depending on the terms, Right at School will rent space from the district to provide a summer camp for children, and I believe that was at Kinwood Elementary this summer. The next contract was Box Clever Education, $5,200 per year for a 3-year renewal. This is a bus status application that provides status to parents on their mobile phones for their students' routes, where they are, if they're on time, running late, etc. RICO, $8,127, purchase and upgrade version of Equitrack, which is a software package that allows individual computers to send, print, scan fax jobs to centralized machines. Next contract, E-Plus, $229,282.40. Purchase new distribution switches for the district's network. The current switches are 8 years old and have reached the end of their useful life. This replacement cost was also discussed in the IT 5-year plans in the past. Next contract was E-Plus at $30,246.12. Purchase a 1 year of hardware support and warranty coverage for the hardware servers and 1 year of maintenance for the software parts of the servers, basically the guts of our IT network. A contract with Presidio, $37,599.84. Purchase 2 upgrade pieces of hardware. The first one was GigaView, allows for the IT department to look into the network to troubleshoot issues. The current version of GigaView the district is running is about 5 years old and will be incapable of managing the increased data flow. And then another purchase, Cisco's ASA 5508, which is the next generation firewall device to support the district's VPN. The current firewall is about 5 years old and lacks more of the security updates we need at this time. The last contract was with iBoss, $11,666, to purchase an upgraded web filter in order to support the faster data throughput when the core network is replaced this summer. There were no informational updates, and the meeting adjourned. Our next meeting will be April 25th at 8:30 in this room.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll.
Yeah, I just wanted to make mention, I'm going to go back a little bit to the transportation issue. Mrs. Stevana Ventura is absolutely correct, particularly for non-public students who are going to independent schools outside. Our routes can be 45 minutes, but we really strive for a maximum 35-minute route within district. I'm looking at Mr. Lilf. Did I get that right?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Stop now.
Okay. At this,
I wanted to highlight the fact that we're trying to find solutions for the half-day kindergarten with transportation issue. And I commend the administration and Right at School for trying to figure that out, because I know it's of high concern to a number of parents. And I don't know if you want to talk about that further, but I just wanted to highlight that.
Now I'm looking at Mrs. Schaefer, but I believe that the Right at School does have a lease for a facility, but it's pending approval for zoning approval. You want to talk about that?
That's correct. They are awaiting township zoning approval for the space that they've identified for their kindergarten wrap program, and so the contract regarding transportation is contingent on them finding a space within the district, and we hope that our on-site provider, which is Right at School, is able to do so to serve our families next year. Is that public information at this point in
Never
time?
mind,
I'm
I
not
guess
sure.
it's not public.
I'm sorry.
But it's got to be on the township. It is, yeah. So, yes, it's public information.
Is it Beth David? Yes, Beth David and Gladwin, yes.
Should we encourage parents who really want to see this happen to contact their commissioners to let them know how important this is? Or?
Do we know when it's going to be up for review by the commissioners?
It's on the 28th, I think.
It's on the 28th.
It's on March 28th.
March 28th.
Okay.
Okay, so it's going to be, the Board of Commissioners will be making a decision on March. No, you're shaking your head.
A point of clarification, it's the zoning hearing board, separate entity from the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
It will be March 28th. I'm looking at their agenda, and it's listed as Right at School and Beth David Reformed Congregation, 1130 Vaughn's
And
Lane.
then they make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners, or they make the decision?
It's a zoning decision, therefore it falls under the authority of the
Okay.
zoning hearing board.
Okay, so, and that's the
Okay,
answer.
maybe we
They
can.
could go speak in front of the zoning board, I would assume.
Yes, you can. There's, you would identify yourself as a party to the proceedings.
Okay, so if people want to express their interest, they would go to the zoning committee, zoning board, zoning hearing board meeting and be able to speak at that time.
Thursday, March 28th, 6:30 start.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Under the Business Office and Finance, I'm going to take items C through F in one motion. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the following action items, the list of bills. Approve the financial report for February 2019, accept with pleasure pursuant to Policy 702, the planting of 2 native trees from the Penn Valley HSA to the Penn Valley Elementary Campus. It's valued at $340, and declare the surplus equipment as surplus property and authorize the disposition thereof.
Thank you, and on behalf of the board and administration, I would like to thank the Penn Valley Civic Association for the tree planting at Penn Valley Elementary School. Are there any?
HSA. It's the HSA, not the Civic. That's a typo when you're.
I thought that was a little bit surprising. So, okay, let me.
It's correct. It's correct on the screen now. There you go. Notice that.
Okay, my apologies. I'm working from my printed copy right now. So I would like to thank the Penn Valley HSA for the tree planting at Penn Valley Elementary School, which makes a lot more sense. So are there any comments or questions at this time? Obviously, this was all reviewed in all these different committees that we've reported out. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Then the motion passes.
Under the Facilities and Operations, I'm going to take items A through I in one motion. These all were reviewed at the Facilities and Purchasing meeting, as noted in Mr. Driscoll's report. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approve the following action items. Award the contracts for the Ford F-550 dump chassis and upfit package and major roof replacement and renovation at Penwood Elementary and Marion Elementary School. Approve this statement of work and order agreement from RICO for EquiTrack server upgrade in the amount of $8,127. Approve the First Amendment to the agreement with Rated School for transportation to Rated School off-site program for kindergarten students in the amount of $90,000 due to the district per the attached. Approve the Second Amendment to the agreement with Rated School for the summer program for elementary school children for the greater of $7,250 or 5% of the fees charged to rated fee users for the summer program due to the district per the attached. Approve the agreement with Box Cleaver Education to renew the bus status system for 3 years at a cost of $5,200 per year. Approve Presidio quote for GigaView and VPN hardware in the amount of $37,599.84. Approve the E+ quote for New Dell Nutanix support in the amount of $30,246.12. Approve the E+ quote for distribution switches in the amount of $229,282.40. And approve the eyeballs quote for web filter hardware upgrade in the amount of $11,666.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Orlando. Are there any questions or comments at this time? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, David. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. And with that, we will have a report of the policy committee meeting, again, by Suba Robinson.
Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. The policy committee met on March 8th in this room at 8:30 a.m. For second readings, we had policy in AR 201, admission of beginners. This policy discusses when and at what age students may be enrolled in first grade. Admission to first grade shall occur any time during the school year by those children who have attained the age of 6 years by September 1st. A child is eligible for admission to kindergarten if the child has attained the age of 5 years by September 1st. And the AR spells out procedures for testing the student at the parent or guardian's expense for an early entry, depending on whether they attended a public or non-public school in the past. Detailed information can be found in the AR or administrative regulation. Second policy we went over for second reading was policy in AR 203, bloodborne pathogens, which is set for repeal as most of the language has been moved to AR and policy 205. Third, we went over AR and policy 205, immunization and communicable diseases. In order to safeguard the community from spread of certain communicable diseases, the board requires the policy guidelines be followed. Immunizations are required to be documented and obtained within 5 days at the beginning of the school year or risk exclusion from school. Additional information can also be found in the administrative regulation. Then we went on to policy in AR 211, student accident insurance. The district provides insurance through Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association, PIAA for short, for sports at no cost to parents or guardians for injury or accidents sustained in the course of participation in the district's athletic program during the period of time the sport is in season. The insurance this year also covers club sports. In addition, parents or guardians can purchase at a nominal cost insurance coverage for participation in district activities other than those governed by PIAA for injury resulting from accidents sustained by the student at any school-sponsored activity or off-school grounds or while being transported to the activity. This accident insurance, as well as the PIAA insurance, would be secondary to the parent or guardian's medical coverage. Additional information about the insurance can be obtained in the beginning of the school year information packet on the website or through the business office. Then we went on to policy in AR 250, student accidents and injuries. This policy discusses the reporting and treatment of student accidents and injuries. In all cases, the school nurse is the point person, so the nurse is the person to be notified of any accidents or injuries. The AR includes information about immediate care, notification of the student's parents or guardians, and where appropriate emergency transportation for the student is necessary. Policy in AR 357, 457, 557 was discussed regarding outside employment and business interests. The language and the delegation of responsibility has been cleaned up and tightened. Questions regarding this policy or the AR should be directed to the building principal or immediate supervisor of the employee. For first reading, we had policy in AR 314, 414, 513, bloodborne pathogens. These policies are being amended to be similar to the policy 205, but relating specifically to employees and bloodborne pathogens. Then we went on to discuss administrative regulations, AR 806, child student abuse. Language in the AR has been updated and mandated reporters are required to report suspected child abuse to the statewide telephone number in the appendix. AR 610 purchasing, this AR has been changed to update the threshold numbers for purchases as indexed by the state and annually updated in the Pennsylvania Bulletin. And we discussed AR 621 federal fiscal compliance. The threshold numbers for federal compliance with respect to purchases has been updated to its new figures. And for discussion, we had policy in AR 705, safety and security, which was briefly discussed and will be brought back next month for a full review. The next policy committee meeting will be held on April 5th in this room.
Thank you very much, Ms. Robinson. At this time, we're going to vote on the second readings. That's policy AR 201, admission of beginners, policy AR 203, bloodborne pathogens for repeal, policy AR 205, immunization and communicable diseases, policy 211, pupil accident insurance, policy 250, student accidents and injuries, and policy 357, 457, 557, outside business interests. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? The motion passes. And this is an announcement that we are having a first reading of the following policies, 314, 414, and 513, bloodborne pathogens. And we are, I guess I'm doing that, moving to approve the revised 2019-20 school year calendar and accept the 2020-2021 school year calendar. Are there any questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you, David. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Lori. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? The motion passes.
It's Melissa. Melissa, it's under
It
new
is?
business.
It
Yeah,
is, okay,
thanks.
sorry, I wasn't sure. So the administration recommends the Board of School Directors approves the following donation requests pursuant to policy 701, sale or disposal of district property and equipment, 3 iPads and 1 desktop to the Narberth Food Bank. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a comment.
Sure.
I'm Vice President of the Narberth Community Food Bank, and I'm recusing myself from this vote, and I want to assure the public that, one, I have not been involved in any way in this request or in its processing, but assure you that every dollar that goes, the food bank doesn't have to spend for overhead goes to fight food insecurity. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Do you have a motion to approve?
So move.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? David is abstaining. The motion passes. At this time, I will take audience recognition on any item, agenda or non-agenda item. So if you would like to speak, please come sign in with Ms. LaPera. Remember to say your name and generally where you live in the district, and you'll have 3 minutes. Do you already have people signed up? Do you want to call
We
their
have
names?
Mr. Cook and Mr. Halpern have signed in already. Mr. Cook, you
Okay,
can come on
please
up.
come to the front. If there's anybody else who would like to speak, can you please sign up now? Okay.
Good evening. I prepared something written just in the essence of keeping within the 3-minute limit.
Sure, can you just say who you are and
Yes.
where you live? Thank you.
My name is Bill Cook. I live in Ballakimwood. I'm Bill Cook, a resident of Ballakimwood. I have 2 children who have attended Lower Merion School since first grade. My son graduated in 2017, and my daughter is graduating from Harriton next year. I was on the board of the Welsh Valley HSA for 6 years. I have been selling real estate on the main line for 25 years. I am also a member of the Lower Merion Planning Commission. I come before you tonight as a concerned township resident who is uniquely qualified to say that it is imperative that the school board make every effort to once again explore locating a new middle school at St. Charles Seminary as an alternative to the site at 1860 Montgomery Avenue. Montgomery Avenue site is the worst possible location for any school in this township for multiple reasons. Here are just a few. 1, it is physically so far removed from the 1,200 students who will attend it that it will require almost all of them to be bused across the entire length of the township. 2, the property has topographical challenges that will require extensive site work. 3, it has historic buildings that must be demolished to clear the way for a new school. 4, the one and only access to the property is located on a busy road that will create a traffic nightmare twice every weekday, as over 27 buses, numerous parents, faculty, and staff attempt to navigate in, out, and around a site with serious traffic flow limitations. 5, this site, with a reported purchase price of $12 million, is not large enough for playing fields and has triggered an attempt to purchase additional land for at least $13 million more. This school board has stated that this is the only possible site for the school. I strongly disagree. The 75 acres at St. Charles Seminary is an ideal site for the school according to both the township's comprehensive plan and the Planning Commission of Montgomery County, because it is located at the eastern end of our township and thus close to many of the students who will attend. It has more than enough land for all of the playing fields. The school board has stated that many months ago they looked at this site and that it would not work for various reasons. The board has said that the existing buildings are too big and they don't have the correct layout and facilities for their needs. I say, where there is a will, there is a way. If we can propose stuffing a square peg into a round hole in Villanova, we can find a way to make the seminary work. The school board has also stated that the timing with the seminary and their plans to vacate don't work. I say a desperate seller will negotiate, and the school board is in a great position to apply their leverage to craft an advantageous deal. It is a matter of public record that the seminary desperately needs to sell. Mainline Health is interested in the property, but it's highly likely that they would only need part of it. They may be agreeable to joining with the school district in purchasing the site, with both institutions dividing it up for their specific needs.
Thank you for your
Let me just finish
remarks,
up. I
sir.
have 10 more seconds. Thank you. The board's
Sir,
willingness to
sir.
consider all of possible options prior to making a commitment that will have
Sir,
far-reaching
this is
effects
actually
for
really
decades to
disrespectful
come.
because we don't actually allow anybody
will
to do this.
Be a
So we
win-win
appreciate it. If
situation
you'd like
for
to
the school
email it
board,
to us
the
in the Lower
township,
Merion
and
School
most of
District
all, our
comments, you're more than
students.
welcome to do so.
Thank you. I'd be more than happy to
Mr.
discuss
Halpern,
this
you
with
can
Thank you very much. Your
anyone
time
on the
is up.
board.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to come back from, Corey Halpern, Marion Station. I just wanted to come back with respect to the proposal that was brought up last week on the modest delay in school start time, pending the longer study for what may be an hour delay in the school start time. And we had brought up starting in possibly September of 2019, at least an immediate 15-minute delay in the start time, because the situation is really an emergency situation for our children. We had found a study, and there are others that we're looking for, which had said that, I'll present copies of this to the board, from the Sleep Medicine Medical Journal, that a modest delay, and in this case it was from 7:45 to 8 a.m. in school start time, can increase adolescent sleep with corresponding improvement in mood and behaviors. Current findings have significant implications for education policy, but they said that both the students who were given the 15-minute delay all showed improved mental health, better pro-social behaviors, better peer relationships, greater attentiveness, and less emotional problems and less behavioral difficulties as measured by the group where the delay did not occur. And we'd like to send copies to the board. We'd like to reiterate our proposal for the board to consider an immediate delay in start times by 15 minutes across the board for school year beginning September 2019. And we can send these to you via email if that's okay with you. And one question, is this something the board will consider?
Are you finished? I
Yes.
don't want to, you're
Yeah,
finished with your
yes,
time now
I'm
at this
finished.
time?
Yes.
So the board is following the recommendations, which is to have a committee who will be analyzing all kinds of recommendations to report to us. That's what we're doing. So we had a long discussion about this last time. We had a lot of discussion in which everybody agreed that we needed to have a committee process and we needed to have a process whereby community members from all parts of the community would be aware of these issues and give their input, and that is what we're doing.
I understand. Is that something that, but is this something that the board will put within that process and consider that for September of 2019?
I don't think the process as it's set up would have anything to be able to be done by September of 2019 at this point, but I'll let Mr. Copeland address that issue.
Yes, we have a timeline, and we're not looking to make any changes for September of 2019.
Thank you. Do you want to respond to that?
I'll let Mr. Roos speak first, and then I'll address Mr. Cook.
Thank you. I would like to assure the township and the board and anyone listening that the school district did exhaust every effort possible to get, in an attempt to get the Archdiocese and Mainline Health to at least have conversations about possible acquisition of St. Charles Seminary property for district purposes, including a new middle school. I documented emails back as far as September of 2017 from me to their attorney, from our broker to their broker. After 3 months of trying to go back and forth, getting nowhere, eventually the district did reach out, continued to reach out. The Archdiocese's response was to hire an attorney who specializes in condemnation in order to make it very clear that there was no interest whatsoever in selling, and basically they were going to do everything they could to oppose even what possible condemnation the district could bring, which against a religious institution, which is very difficult to do. That continued on. The district was only able to get on the property by actually filing a formal notice of intent. Otherwise, the Archdiocese wouldn't even let the school district on the property to even look at the property to see if it was even suitable for a middle school. After several more months and attempted intervention from several township officials, district officials, it took almost 4 months to arrange a meeting in May of 2018 among the representatives of the school district, Mainline Health, St. Charles Seminary, the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, at which time it was concluded that since the seminary intended to use the entire 70 acres of the site for at least the next 5 years as a seminary, everyone there agreed, after a lengthy discussion, that the property was not a viable option for a district middle school. Subsequent to that, in July of 2018, the township then designated the buildings as a historic resource, a Class 1 historic resource. At some point, we became aware that there were still conversations, there were still Mainline Health, was still conversations with the Archdiocese regarding an agreement of sale for the property, which meant that the Archdiocese couldn't contact us directly, according to the Archdiocese. Mainline Health has shown, to this point, no inclination to engage the school district in any discussions. We did reach out as recently as last month when we heard that Mainline Health had hired a consultant to meet with various groups that may be interested in using some or part of the property. Asked for a meeting with the consultant. That meeting has yet to occur. I followed up on that as recently as last Thursday. We still don't have anybody from Mainline Health reaching out to us, even though at this point the district has already very far down the line, as you know, with the property where the Islamic Foundation property currently is right now. There would be a $350,000 deposit that would be lost if the district were to abandon that agreement of sale, in addition to hundreds of thousands of dollars of consultant architect fees that have been spent to date on that property.
And whatever concerns we have, and we have expressed those without hesitation about the topography, about the site and the distance, the seminary is not necessarily an ideal site either. It sits about equidistant from Penn Wynne and from Marion Elementary School. Both of those schools now go to Bala-Cynwyd Middle School. So you're left with the issue of, even if you could do it, what students would populate Bala-Cynwyd Elementary School? There would be a massive redistricting throughout the entire district, all to be able to repopulate the various middle schools. Further, the seminary is about 300,000 square feet. We only need about 200,000 square feet for the middle school we need. So we'd have to hold on to or do something with 100,000 square feet that we don't need. However, there's not an adequate gymnasium. There's not an adequate auditorium. There's not an adequate library. So we'd actually have to build on thousands of square feet to a building that's already 100,000 square feet too large. So while some may think it's workable, it's certainly not ideal, and it presents enormous financial implications for whoever's going in there. This is an issue that's been raised over and over again. As Mr. Roos says, we can't subpoena people, we can't compel them, we can't force them to meet. We've tried everything we could. We've got to move on. We have architectural contracts, we've got the design of a new school, and I think that's where we are.
I just want to reiterate that while the site is not ideal for the seminary, for a school, for all the reasons that you mentioned, I want to be very clear again that Mainline Health is refusing to reach out to us. We have contacted them on multiple occasions. So, Mr. Cook, since you keep saying this, if you have a contact who you would like to put in contact with me, I will give you my cell phone number after this meeting, because our attorneys have been reaching out to them repeatedly and they are not. So it is not helpful to have people from the Planning Commission or the township keep bringing up this issue when in fact we have pursued it consistently and have been rebuffed. So to be very clear on the record that, you know, I will give you my personal cell phone number, and if you can get somebody from Mainline Health to call me, I'll take that call. Actually, before we, let's do Sunshine first. Go ahead, please, Mr. Roos.
Yes, board met in executive session last March 11th to discuss the latest briefing order in the Wolf budget litigation. The district's briefs are now due April 8th, 2019, before the Commonwealth Court. And the briefs of the opposing party are due a month later. So that appeal is now been scheduled. With respect to tonight, there was also executive session tonight, March 18th, regarding the litigation regarding the recent condemnation.
Thank you. Here are some upcoming meeting dates. We have an April 8th Education Committee meeting, an April 29th regular business board meeting, and we have committee meetings on April 1st is a communications legislative forum at 7 p.m. in the Lower Marion High School Library, and I'm going to ask Lori to just tell us a little bit more about that.
Great. Great, thank you. We are hosting several of our state representatives that evening. Representatives Mary Jo Daley, Tim Briggs, and Pam DeLisio, and Senator Dalen Leach. So we encourage the public to come with their questions about how current or future initiatives or legislative efforts in Harrisburg could impact public education in Lower Marion. And the board will be preparing and asking some questions as well. And community members and students or kids are also encouraged to attend. You don't need to be affiliated with our public schools to show up and participate. Thank you.
Thank you very much for organizing that. And then we have on April 2nd, a curriculum committee meeting. That's at 8:30 a.m. April 3rd, Finance Committee meeting. That's the Student Services Budget Review that Diane mentioned earlier. April 5th is policy. April 24th is another finance meeting about staffing and IT. And then April 25th is facilities and purchasing. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.